Welcome back, folks. In this video, we'll talk about conversion factors. And conversion factors is really just moving from one unit to another, like pounds to kilograms. There are 2.2 pounds in a kilogram, or 1 kilometer. In 1 kilometer, there are 1,000 meters. Okay, so I also just want to show, like, okay, well, 2 is equal to 2. And I just want to talk about this real quick because if I were to go and ask you, is this true? Of course you'd say that's true. 2 is equal to 2. Okay, so that's the same as 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters, right? We know that that's true. Okay, so now I'm going to just go and divide both sides by 1,000 meters. And 1,000 meters divided by itself is going to be equal to 1. Okay, now from our algebra section earlier, if we divide by 1,000 on the right side, we must do that on our left. So I could say that 1 kilometer over 1,000 meters is equal to 1. This is what we call a conversion factor. Okay, so I'm going to go and put that into place, or put that into practice with a couple of examples just to show you what that looks like. Okay, so the big idea here is that we are moving from one unit to another. Okay, so how many molecules are in 4.6 gallons of water? Okay, so how I like to set this up, I like to think that our end goal is molecules and our starting spot is gallons of water. So I'm going to start with 4.6 gallons of water. And then I'm just going to multiply by 1 a whole bunch of times. I'm going to end up with molecules when I'm done doing my unit conversions. Okay, so this is a bit of a puzzle because we're going to use the information that's given to us up here. 1 gallon is equal to 3.78 liters. So if I put one of these numbers on top and one on the bottom, okay, this thing in the brackets is just going to be equal to 1. And I can multiply 4.6 gallons by 1. I can multiply anything by 1 and not change it. Okay, so for this question, I'm going to write down my units first. I'm going to put gallons and liters, and I'm going to do that so that my units of gallons on top and gallons on the bottom are going to cancel out. So I'll go and put some numbers in here from this line. We know that 1 gallon is equal to 3.78 liters. Okay, in this next unit conversion, I'm going to convert liters into grams of water. Okay, I'm going to put liters on the bottom, grams on top, so that our units will cancel out. And the numbers from that line, 1 liter is equal to 1,000 grams. Okay, and our last conversion, just to convert grams into molecules, is 1 molecule is 2.98 times 10 to the negative 23. Our grams will cancel. Okay, and then with this, now you're going to go and plug and chug in your calculator. 4.6 times 3.78 times 1,000 divided by 2.98 times 10 to the negative 23. And the answer that you check out of that should be 5.98 times 10 to the 26 molecules, which makes sense, right? If we're looking at molecules in, in anything, there are just a load of them, loads and loads and loads of them, right? So 5.98, we can imagine putting another bunch of 24 zeros behind that number, and it's obviously going to be a very, very big number. Okay, so we'll look at one more. We quite commonly switch back and forth between kilometers per hour and meters per second. So in this example, I'm going to start with 18 kilometers per hour. Okay, and then I'm going to, I drew my conversion factor, but I'm going to put equals meters per second over here because I want to end up in meters per second. Okay, and then I'm just going to think, well, if I want to convert first, I want to convert the distance. So I want to convert kilometers into meters. I'm going to put kilometers on the bottom and meters on top. And so we have to really ask ourselves, hey, how many meters are there in a kilometer? Kilo means 1,000. Okay, so 1,000 over 1 would be our conversion factor there. Okay, then the next thing we'll have to convert is hours into minutes. And if I asked you how many minutes are in an hour, I think you'll be able to tell me that the answer is 60. Okay, and my hours are going to cancel out. Okay, the next conversion factor I want to do with this time is minutes into seconds. How many seconds are there in a minute? There are 60. Okay, and what we'll be left with, I'm just looking at the units, is meters per second. And all I've done here is multiply by 1 the whole way along. I can multiply any number by 1 and not change it. So 18 times 1,000 divided by 60 divided by 60, you should end up with 5 meters per second. Okay, and then I just want to point out one last thing here, and that being the numbers that you plugged and chugged are 1,000 over 60 times 60, or 1,000 over 3,600. Okay, and this, if we reduce this, it turns into 1 over 3.6. And this 3.6 number is going to become special for us in physics, because this is a common conversion. We know that 1 kilometer per hour is equal to 3.6 meters per second. So at the beginning of this question, if I had 18 kilometers per hour, the shortcut for me would be to go 18 divided by 3.6, and that'll end up as an answer of 5. Okay, so that's a quick overview of conversion factors. There are some practice questions in your worksheet package. Thanks very much, and we'll see you again soon.